Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. Our story today is about a strong woman who broke down in an instant and made a life-changing decision that fundamentally changed the lives of her entire family. This story will remind everyone how important it is to take your mental health and the mental health of your loved ones seriously, and not to be afraid to speak up when things in life don't go the way you want them to. We will visit Atlanta, the capital and most populous city in the state of Georgia. It's a vibrant, busy tourist city that has grown thanks to giants like Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. On November 6, 2021, at around 9 p.m., a man called emergency services to report that exhaustive screams and several gunshots were heard coming from a neighbor's house. Police officers rushed to the scene and entered the home. They found a man and a woman dead on the floor. After examining the scene of the tragedy, the police began their investigation. The murdered spouses were Ronell and Kiana Burns. But who would want to kill a married couple, and why? The family lived in a large home that was located in the most ethnically diverse county in Gwinnett County. The house itself did not appear to have been burglarized, as all belongings were still in their places. But the clue to this double crime came to light very quickly. Let's rewind with you the history of the Burns family, like a movie backwards, and see the true cause of the tragedy that occurred. Kiana was born on September 15, 1977 in St. Louis, Missouri. She graduated from Riverview Gardens High School, later at St. Louis Community College in Florissant Valley, where she majored in cosmetology and soon began building her own business career. Kiana opened her own beauty salon, which was popular. The girl was very hardworking, as she always dreamed of a luxurious and rich life. She invested a lot of time in the business, and it paid off. Over the next 20 years, with her persistence and hard work, Kiana turned it into one of the largest beauty salons throughout the St. Louis area. However, the personal life of a young, bright woman did not always go smoothly. Strong, wealthy, and ambitious Kiana was very difficult to find a worthy couple. In her 44 years, she had 3 children from previous relationships, whom Kiana loved with all her soul. Her family described her as a great and loving mother. She knew how to support women, was a good friend, and a successful businesswoman. Kiana had it all when she met her future husband, Ronell Burns. Ronell Burns was born on May 14, 1975 in St. Louis, Missouri. Ronell graduated from the High School of Fashion in 1994. He played on the basketball team and played for a state championship. He was very driven, ambitious, especially loved the competitive spirit and always strived for greatness. When he met Kiana, he had 2 children of his own from a previous relationship. So fate brought 2 successful and ambitious people together, and they created a new, strong, and happy family. On September 13, 2012, they officially became husband and wife and celebrated a gorgeous wedding in the presence of numerous relatives and friends. However, soon after the wedding for Kiana began to open new sides of her chosen one. It turned out that at an early age, Ronell dedicated his life to Jesus Christ and wanted to start doing the work of the Lord. He began to serve everyone he could, even those he crossed paths with on the street. Ronell created his own webpage on the internet where he began coaching and preaching. Ronell voiced that in his early years, God spoke to him and told him to help people. One of the calls stated, "Sometimes he can call everyone, and only he can allow things to happen in life." Ronell continued his ministry. His video messages were very popular on the internet. In addition to his impressive lines as a church coach, Ronell was a financial counselor and insurance agent. He started a company called Traditional Financial Solutions, where he was determined to help people all over the world become financially independent. Ronell was very successful in his business and in his efforts to help, and his speeches did draw large audiences. Kiana supported her husband. Together they gained popularity online, as Ronell was already quite well known as a leader and coach in Six Figure Ambition, an online program for entrepreneurs. He had over 7,000 followers on Instagram and 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, where he ran a channel with educational videos. Ronell and Kiana Burns brought their families and business minds together. They dreamed together and ended up creating something great that touched thousands of people. Kiana was known as a speaker at business events where she shared lessons and inspiration on how to succeed. She also had 14,000 followers on Instagram, where she shared thoughts on her family life and inspirational quotes. In one of the popular video messages, the beautiful couple dressed exclusively in branded items appeared before their audience. They talked about entrepreneurship and how it has benefited their lives and the lives of thousands of subscribers. The couple spoke loudly that their mission is to convey to their audience how to become successful entrepreneurs, as well as build their fundamental business. The time to build other people's businesses was over. The Burns family wanted to teach young entrepreneurs not to spend all the money they earned, but to invest it skillfully to generate new money that earned itself. The speech ended with the message that the Burnses believe in everyone who believes in them. And the belief is that you don't have to be great to start, you have to start to become great. They have never hidden their luxurious life, instead flaunting it in front of their audience, attracting new students and subscribers. However, in the Burns family, only Kiana has traveled the path that Ronell has repeatedly described. She has worked hard to build and operate an entire network of salons on her own. At the time of their coaching, Kiana owned several salons and was also a successful insurance agent. It was Kiana's business that brought in most of the family's capital. Ronell, in turn, diligently wanted to occupy a winning position, and therefore there was an image of a wealthy family exclusively in expensive clothes. Photos from the best restaurants were published daily. But rich and successful people go ahead, not wasting time on words, and poor people continued to believe the speeches of the Burns family. By tempting stories of how to earn big money without labor, using only the words of his mentor Ronell, he received a lot of interest from the outside, because every poor person dreams of becoming rich. So Ronell Burns founded a company with six-figure ambitions. It gave them the opportunity to continue to add to their capital and create their own legacy, which he talked about in every interview. The Burnses created a tight-knit family, and for a long time, their entire entourage thought so. Until Ronell suggested that Kiana move from her beloved and native St. Louis to Atlanta. By that time, they already had 3 children together, Rhea, Makey, and Ray Haley. Parents to their children, and well-known in their careers, Ronell and Kiana Burns were inspirational figures that people looked up to. The move to Atlanta was a forced move. They had plans to expand their business. Having owned his wife's business, Ronell dreamed of expanding it. 3 beauty salons in St. Louis was no longer enough for him. The ambitious Ronell wanted to establish a chain of salons in Atlanta, as well to expand his clientele. Kiana was reluctant to move out of St. Louis, but again gave in to her husband and continued to play along with him in front of the public. Kiana Burns painted a rosy picture of her life. On social media, she posted a picture of her receiving a premium Maserati Levant car as a gift from her husband. She also shared photos of her trunk full of Louis Vuitton bags. Each such post was captioned with words of admiration and gratitude to her husband. But, like any blogger, Kiana often dedicated her Instagram feed to her beloved children and family. After a while, the woman couldn't stand it and admitted to her audience that everything in their family is not as smooth as it looks. It turned out that the couple was on the verge of divorce. After moving to Atlanta, Kiana was left alone in a big, unfamiliar city where she had to start all over again. In a video message, she shared with her subscribers that it was hard for her to decide to move and adjust to a new home and new people. "You have to be ready for life changes," she said during her Facebook live stream. "Things in your life can change for the better or for the worse overnight. Literally. If you don't think you're a strong enough person, some things can take you out of yourself." She told her followers that she needed their support as she was going through a difficult time. Kiana admitted that her favorite subscribers are helping her get through the dark days, which have become quite a lot lately. From the outside, no one knew that they were so close to divorcing each other. This confession disturbed the subscribers, and Ronell had to speak out live on air, too. He revealed that they decided 7 months ago that they were going to get a divorce. His words sounded like a business plan again. "I'm tired of her. We're going to continue to run our business together going forward, but we're also announcing that we're going to divorce. We've dealt with each other, we've both come to this conclusion, but let's not put pressure and grieve. Everything around us will remain the same." We took out a piece of paper on which we drew a line down the middle. That's how we decided how we're going to divide the business. But for obvious reasons, bloggers share only positive stories with their followers. To tell about failures is to lose faith and, in the case of the Burns family, their status, which has been built up over the years. However, being public figures, it soon did become clear that the family's wealthy life was just a picture for social media. Ronell, in his hunt for fame and popularity, very quickly squandered all the money Kiana received from beauty salons. But he did not stop there, and the debt of the Burns family to various banks in a few years reached more than $500,000. Obviously, the move to an unfamiliar city and financial difficulties reached their peak. On the eve of the tragedy, Kiana Burns went live and interacted with her subscribers. She went live where she asked her fans to pray for her strength as she struggles without the support and help of family and friends, especially as she cares for her children. In the post, Kiana talked about life changes and shared how she and her husband moved to Atlanta to expand their business just 5 or 6 months ago. She wrote, "I tell you that if you don't pray and keep the faith, things can change and take you away." She also spoke of the existence of a supportive love circle that will help you and talk to you about things that you just can't seem to get past. Because if we leave things to chance, we start to think to ourselves and make bad decisions. At the end of her speech, she added that any change in life is not always smooth sailing. Learning about new environments and new people, especially without the support of immediate family and friends, is sometimes very difficult. The woman also admitted that she is working with her mental health and worries that she is not strong enough to take on the challenges of fate. But was the move the main reason for the imbalance in the family? In that speech, Kiana was silent that the real cause of the rift was Ronell's numerous cheating and promiscuous life, which always remained behind the scenes of their happy life on Instagram. However, on the same night, she posted a video again where she was dancing merrily at home with one of her daughters. A few hours later, the unthinkable happened. Kiana and Ronell had a long argument. She then grabbed a gun and shot him, then herself. Authorities were first called to the Burns home. By the time police arrived, neighbors had gathered outside and said they heard gunshots coming from inside. Preliminary stages of the investigation determined that Ronell Burns had shot himself. But soon discovering Kiana's bloody body in the next room with a gun in her hands, it became apparent that the decision had come from a woman. The motive was clear, but some people claimed that Kiana was forced to kill her husband after she discovered he was cheating on her. Another version said that the couple was in terrible debt and that Ronell turned out to be a common con man who ended up cheating on her. People who believed this family dug hard into their lives in search of the truth. They discovered some very compromising information from Ronell's ex-wife. She claimed that during her divorce proceedings, she had learned that Ronell was a habitual chronic cheater. During that time period, he was extremely irresponsible with his wife's money and also failed to hold down any jobs, which ultimately led to ruin and a ruined credit history for his now ex-wife. Then he met Kiana. She was actually of great interest to Ronell, as she was a successful career woman. She in turn was attracted to Ronell's confidence and swagger. Kiana's fortune and Ronell's experience seemed to be a winning combination, but these expectations were not met, and all their business endeavors eventually collapsed. Only Kiana's beauty salon remained afloat, and from that moment on, despite the lack of income from Ronell, he actively continued to convince everyone what a successful businessman he was. The family successfully hid the real state of affairs and their severe lack of money on social media, continuously showing off expensive purchases. They also carefully hid the problems in their relationship behind happy photos together. On his account, Ronell continued to publish posts about his business endeavors, where he claimed that everything he takes on becomes successful and profitable. The Burns couple showed themselves to be devout Christians, and in each post, they added quotes from the Bible and other holy scriptures that fit the meaning of the speech. The couple also posted photos of their luxurious residence, showing the public their wealth and family in great detail. However, all these photos, which they showed in their home or at a party in front of cars or on vacation, in reality were only a cover and show. Ronell worked for an American marketing insurance company that extorted money from middle and lower income families. In fact, the man tried to involve even his family members and friends in this fraudulent scheme in order to raise his status, but Ronell did not get enough money from this activity in the firm and could not support himself. They kept convincing everyone around them that the new business was successful, and they themselves were successful entrepreneurs. Their arrogance was so strong that they even made a TV series about themselves, calling it Meet the Burns. Everything they supposedly earned was immediately spent on a lavish lifestyle and a desire to feel like someone they really weren't. Such profligacy eventually led them to bankruptcy. So on December 19, 2019, Kiana and Ronell Burns filed an official bankruptcy petition. The couple had to liquidate some of their assets to pay off their creditors. While this was going on in their lives, Ronell and Kiana still continued to pretend like nothing was going on. They continued to portray themselves as a happy family and successful businessmen. But in St. Louis, it was getting harder and harder to do that. So Ronell decided that their family should move to a bigger city so that he could continue to scam more people with impunity. This became another stupid and failed decision on his part. They still had a thriving business that was the family's only source of income. Unfortunately, Kiana once again went along with her husband and agreed to the move. Kiana couldn't get used to Atlanta. She already knew that her husband had cheated on her repeatedly. The woman was tired of being patient and silent. Together, they made the decision to divorce. But in papers filed on October 10, 2021, Ronell listed his wife's infidelity as the reason for the divorce. Kiana was destroyed, but she understood the reasons as family and friends had no idea of the couple's difficulties. Ronell hid the truth from the public in hopes of preserving his image. On October 20th, 10 days after Ronell filed for divorce, Kiana went on live TV that day to talk about something much more serious. The bright smile she often displayed was now replaced by an expression of concern and sadness. After divorcing his first wife, conman Ronell Burns had remarried the successful and wealthy Kiana, and using his new image as a devout guru, he seemed a changed and reliable man. But in reality, he hadn't changed and continued to take advantage of his new wife's trust and money by playing the successful businessman. What seemed like a perfect union was over. On November 9, 2021, 44-year-old Kiana Burns shot and killed her husband, 46-year-old Ronell Burns, before pointing the gun at herself and committing suicide. The Sandy Springs Police Department said no one was home at the time of the murder, but the couple left behind 8 children who will now grow up without parents. Police said there was no history of domestic violence at the family's Atlanta home. Kiana Burns committed this a few weeks after asking her Facebook friends to pray for her. The reasons for this decision by Kiana Burns are unknown. One can only speculate what prompted the strong-spirited woman to make such a drastic decision. It is obvious that at that time she saw only such a way out while in a difficult condition. She withdrew into herself through unsolvable inner problems. She was tired of appearing to be happy instead of being happy. All their life together, they had portrayed that they were happy. However, everything in this family was a farce and a game. Absolutely everything. Kiana was tired of lying. It's hard to judge what a person does under a cloud of depression and other debilitating mental disorders, but it's also hard to understand why so many children are left alone in this world, essentially to fend for themselves. News of the influential couple's death has traveled throughout their vast network of friends and colleagues. The death of Ronell Burns and his wife Kiana has been widely publicized on social media. Numerous followers and friends shared words of regret describing the couple. People close to the couple paid tribute. One post written by a family friend shows that even people very close to the couple didn't know the real truth about the family until the end. Ronell Burns was someone who felt the need to flaunt his success and luxury, and these are usually the most insecure people. He got so caught up in his own self-belief that he mistook his sense of self-worth for a sense of self-importance. Imitating a stormy activity, he was able to ruin the life of more than one diligent and successful woman. Such people have no pride and no sense of dignity. He's just an ordinary con man who dragged his wives to the bottom. But where does a man like him get his pride? He deceived women, making them believe in beautiful fairy tales of happiness and success that awaits them only with him, because it is known that women love with their ears and dream of eternal love. And subscribers, will you say? Who tells subscribers the whole truth? They are strangers for whom they always create a beautiful picture. But do not forget that a beautiful picture, which is depicted on the front side of the paper, always has a backside, and what it will be decide only you. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel. There are many shocking stories ahead of you.